Let's start with that video. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Tadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Vardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Namadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. After completing the teaching of Vedanta, particularly the Mahavakyas, and the teacher now gives the final instructions. Since the student has no more doubts and it's crystal clear for him, now he gives the final instructions. Now he can go and meditate on that. Normally, the Srotavya, listening to the teaching itself should be sufficient, but for many of us, only for Uttamadhikari, like Nachiketas, Sravanam is sufficient because it prepares the mind completely. Therefore, he doesn't have any other than wanted only this knowledge, and his mind is completely have a Suddha Ekagrata, the single pointed devotion towards the goal itself is established because of the previous samskara. But many of us are only Madhyamadhikaris because we still have the Ragadveshas which are not eliminated completely, which means that I am still going after the objects for my happiness. So the mind is not completely clean or completely clear, and it's clear enough for one to listen to Vedanta and contemplate on the Vedanta and have a clear understanding of Vedanta. At the same time, that's not internalized. And therefore, for that only scripture says, Nididhyasitavyaha. You have to contemplate. How long you have to contemplate? Depending upon how much of Ragadveshas are remnant there. And for many of us, it's a lifelong, continuous meditation on that. How do you contemplate on it? It's completely to devote to that specifically, to memorize the teaching and keep on that. Essentially, here the instructions by the teacher is you have to keep bhavanipidam paradattvamatmanaha swarupam anandaganam nichaya. So essentially, seeing oneself that I am the source of happiness itself. There is no reason for me to go after for sense enjoyment, for happiness, because one has to recognize it. So that means the Ragadveshas have to be slowly withdrawn. So viduya moham swamana prakalpitam. So the swamanaha prakalpitam mohaha viduya, giving up all the wrong notions or delusion. Moha is delusion. Delusion is taking the plurality as reality. That is a delusion. Plurality is not a problem. Transactions are not a problem. But problem comes is if I depend on that for my happiness, then that is called moham. So nashto mohas putir labda tat prasadena mahachuta. So Arjuna, in the end of the 18th chapter, after so much of discussions, at the end he says, Nashto mohas putir labda. I have gone, the delusion is gone away, and I am ready to listen to you. So tat prasadena mahachuta, by your grace I am able to eliminate all that. So here the instruction is muktaha krutartho bhavatu prabuddha. So awake from that state of the sleepiness. Sleepiness means delusion that this reality is illusion. When you are in the dream, you think that is the reality. So for a dreamer, that is a dream world is real. So you awaken, only when you are awakened, you can recognize that whatever the dream was only unreal with reference to the higher reality. But here in the waking state itself, you can be awakened. That's called Jivan Muktaha. So Muktaha Krutartha Bhavatu. So by liberate yourself and bless yourself, and the whole purpose of life itself is fulfilled. And that's why Kulam Pavitram Janani Krutartha Vishwambara Punyavati Chatena. Your whole life, the Kulam itself is blessed because of
your realization, and the mother is blessed, Janani Kutartha, and Vishwambara Punyavati Chena. By your presence, the world around you itself is blessed. And we'll take the few more instructions by the teacher before he asks the student, go and meditate on that. We take 475. Samadhina sadhu sunischalatmana, Samadhina sadhu sunischalatmana, Pasyatmatattvam spudabodha chakshusha, Spasyatmatattvam spudabodha chakshusha, Nissamsayam samyak avechitaschet, Nissamsayam samyak avechitaschet, Shruta padartho na punarvikalpate, Shruta padartho na punarvikalpate. So Samadhina, sadhu, Sunischalatmana, sadhu, the one who is a wise person, so become a wise person. So sadhu, the wise person, says Sunischalatmana. So Nischala Atmana, Atmana here is the mind. Mind is so Nischalam, means quiet, calm, contemplative, when it is completely the contemplative. Says Krishna, Arjuna said, it's very difficult to control it. Says the Chanchalam Himana Krishna Pramadi Balavadrulam Tasyaham Nigraham Manye Vayoruva Sudushkaram. Oh Krishna, it's very indeed impossible to almost to control this mind, and you are asking me to control it. Says, yes, what you say is right, but Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena Chakshate. By constant practice you can control it. And therefore it is not impossible, it's possible, it's difficult indeed. And therefore here the teacher reminds, so Sunischalatmanaha, by Nischalam, Nischalam means Atmanaha, the mind is completely calm and quiet and single pointed on that Samadhina. Samadhina means the two ways is in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi or Samadhina, Samatvam Darshanatvam. That means looking at equality in all across the board. So you see the differences. So Krishna himself said, as we discussed, says the Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmano Gavihastini. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini says the Gavihastini, and the either a cow or the elephant or a scholarly person, a samadrushti is there for a person. So therefore Samadhina sadhu sunischalatmana, Pasyatma tattvam sudabodha chakshushaha, Pasya atma tattvam. So one sees your own self. Atma tattva means what is the nature of your own self. My nature of is I am pure, existent, conscious entity. That is Spudabodha Chakshusha, by clear vision. Here Chakshusha means Jnana Chakshusha, by having the vision through the wisdom eye. That's called Lord third eye of the Lord Shiva. Third eye of Lord Shiva is Jnana Chakshu. Jnana Chakshu is that eyes that can see what the regular eyes cannot see. What the regular eyes can see only the plurality, but the Jnana Chakshu sees the one that pervades the plurality, the Ekatvam that pervades the plurality is Jnana Chakshu. And therefore Sputa Bodha Chakshusha, see, clear vision of the Jnana Chakshu. So Pasya, the Atma Tattvam, recognition of the nature of your own nature. Nissamsayam samyak avechitaha avestitaschet sruta padartho na purarvikalpite. If there are no doubts about either the pramata or prameyam. Pramana is the doubt about the scriptural teaching, and pramata is your own self. That is what Atma Tattvam says. Right now I think I am different from the whole universe, and therefore Sruta Padarthaha. So having listened to the Shruti and having listened to the teaching, and therefore once you have Nissamsayaha Samyak Avechitaha said, if we can see clearly what oneness that pervades in spite of differences, in spite of Sajati Vijati Swagada Bedhas, you have to see that which is Desakala Desakala vastu aparichinnitvam. So moksha is not limited by space-wise, time-wise or object-wise. And even if you see the space, time and objects at the transaction level, one should have the clear understanding by bodha chakshusha, by this wisdom eye. Sruta bodha chakshusha, sruta padartho na purarvikalpite. Once you have the clear understanding, jnanam is there, jnani never become again ajnani. Because that's what knowledge is. Once you know it, you will never become ajnani also. So that way you will be liberated forever. That's what Krishna, the teacher emphasizes. We'll take one more sloka. Swasya vidya bandha sambandha mokshan. Swasya vidya bandha sambandha mokshan. Satya jnana ananda rupatma labdau. Satya jnana ananda rupatma labdau. Shastram yuktir desikokti pramanam. Shastram yuktir desikokti pramanam. Chanta siddha swanubhuti pramanam. Chanta siddha swanubhuti pramanam. The 476 of the Viveka Sudamani. So, swasya avidya bandha sambandha moksha. Swasya, by to him who has avidya bandha, because of the ignorance, started ignorance and bandham, because of the bandham, the bondage due to the ignorance, sambandha mokshat, and because of that which is sambandha bandham has been liberated, and moksha, who was one who is free from that, satya jnanananda rupatma labdha, one who has gained satchit satyam jnanam anantam. Satya jnana anandam. Anandam is anantameva anandam. So rupatma labdha, having gained the understanding that I am the Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. So having that means the ignorance has been removed by the appropriate knowledge. Ignorance is of what? Ignorance of your own self. Because I do not know myself, I take myself what I am not as a myself. Now having gained this knowledge, you have recognized that I am existent and I am conscious entity. That we don't need a Shastra to teach me, but I am also Ananda, because that's what I am looking for all the time, happiness outside. So now happiness comes from my own self, and that not only logically and by the Shastra also. And Rupatvat Labdho, having gained that, Shastram Yuktihi Desikoktihi Pramanam. So for this, the knowledge to the Shastra becomes the Vedanta Shastra becomes the Pramana, means of knowledge. Yukti, it should be logical also, and Desikoktihi, it is the teaching of the Desika. Desika is the teacher, they become a Pramanam, a means of knowledge. So Chanta Siddha Swanubhuti Pramanam. So Antaha Siddha. In the end, I had to contemplate on it. So even though Shastra is telling me, and the logic is also, it's logical, and Desikaha Bhuktihi, the teacher also taught me, and having learned all that as a Pramanam, means of knowledge, Antaha Siddha Swanubhuti Pramanam. Now I had to Swanubhutihi, I had to experience that. Here the experience is not some experience of any object here, because I am there all the time to experience, because it is of my own self. So it is Swanubhuti, means aparoksha jnanam has to be internalized. So that is essentially Anta Siddhaha. So I have to firmly abide in that, having no more doubts, and now contemplate on it and recognize and claim myself. It's a claiming only that I am that Satchidananda Swarupam. Swanubhutihi Pramanam. That is the only Pramanam now. So it is left to the student itself. The teaching is over and instructions are being done in terms of what is the Pramanam, and ultimately you have to recognize yourself what it is. There's an interesting story told in order to emphasize how the Swanubhavam becomes a Pramanam. There was one person who had somehow a blindness, and a very rare disease that he had, something blocking his eyes, and nobody could remove it. So he went to a doctor and everybody promised that they look at it, and they went through some operations, but nothing happened. He was still blind. So so many process, all that, and almost he was giving up. Ultimately, someone told him there's a famous the ophthalmologist, and he's a world famous, and he has cured all diseases, and you approach him. But he was not reluctant because he has gone to so many ophthalmologists and everything. It was a disappointing. So at last, somehow his relatives convinced him, and he went to the doctor, and doctor looked at it and recognized that this is a very strange disease that has to be cured properly, and he gave medicines, and then now I have to operate on you. So he was reluctant, but he went through the operation, and after the operation is over, operation was successful, and the doctor opened the bandage and says, now you can open your eyes. He says, I don't want to open my eyes. You promised me that every time I got disappointed, you promised me that I could see, then only I'll open your eyes. Sir, the operation is successful, everything seems to be clear. Now you have to open your eyes and see whether you can see or not. He says, no, you have to promise me that I can, when I open my eyes, I could see. So what the doctor will do? So doctor, the ultimate pramanam is, I had to open my eyes and see. Then only I say operation is successful. Because he was disappointed and he didn't want to open his eyes. But the pramanam ultimately is whether the person can open and see. That's why when you go to an ophthalmologist, he will tell you, can you see this way better? Can you see the other way better? He keeps changing the lenses and finer. And I had to tell the ophthalmologist that which way I can better. But they won't know. He can only tell in terms of instruments what is better. And I had to tell whether I can see clearly or not. The ultimate litmus test is, I had to know I am that. This is the same test that was given in the Chandogya Upanishad. When I see, remember that hot iron test. Hot iron test, somebody found, the police found somebody that he has stolen the property. So because by circumstantial evidence, they caught hold of somebody and they brought, they asked him, have you stolen it? So the fellow said, I didn't steal it. So, but they don't know witness either way, but they are doubtful that he is close by and they don't have anybody else suspect. They brought him to the king. And the king asked, did you steal it? He said, no, I didn't steal it. So now, question is he telling the truth or he is not telling the truth? If he is telling the truth, that means he is not stolen also. Somebody else must have. So he didn't steal also. Now we need to know whether he is telling the truth or not. So how do you test it? Because there is no other evidence. So the king asked, bring a hot iron here. So they brought a red hot iron. He says, now you touch with your hand. If you are telling the truth, then truth will protect you. It won't burn your hand. If you are not telling the truth, then your hand will get burned, and that means you are lying, and that means you are a thief. That means you will be punished also. Besides getting burned, you will be punished also. So he says, so what does the teacher do? So what it means is, if you have realized, that means when you make a contact with the world, with a hot world, you won't get burned. That's what essentially the Chandogya Upanishad story is, where the teacher Uddalaka teaches his son Swetaketu, says this is the methodology. That means when you make a contact with the hot world, you will not get burned. And that's what the implication of that is. Essentially, you will be saved by the knowledge. So in spite of the ups and downs in the life, the frequency of your perturbation, the intensity of your perturbation, and the recovery time from perturbation slowly goes down as you firmly abide into this knowledge. You become calm, quiet, and peaceful most of the time as you live through. And that is essentially a litmus test for one's own self, that whether I am abiding in the knowledge. If I am not abiding, that means I have to concentrate, because there are still raga dveshas. Even though one has understood clearly, it's not abiding because of the remaining raga dveshas are there. We'll go into more details of some more slokas of the final instructions by the teacher in the next talk. We'll stop here. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ